against my enemies, yeah. You see, you wanted to save you, and then learn how to raise you. But I forget you're from the wilderness.
Hello everyone, what is up? I am Rob.
I'm Eamon.
Damn son, it is a mini Fuzz. How you feeling?
Pretty good. How you feeling?
Prime me life, never been better.
Prime me your life.
Etc. Etc.
Wowee.
I was looking, actually my girlfriend made a rude comment.
Oh wow.
I posted the today on Instagram, which if you're listening, you're not following us on Instagram, go and follow us. Posted the past 3 years of our Halloween costumes.
Oh yeah, very
She goes,
good.
wow, you look so young in the 2021. I was like, that was like 2-3 years ago. I'm like,
Yeah, we all went through some shit in COVID, like, you know, aged us.
It was like, yeah, it was fun actually to go back through the different costumes we've done.
We've been
Spider-Man,
the Crow, and you were Eddie, and dinosaurs. Yeah.
We won't tell what this year's is, but yours is going to be better this year. Yours is going to be like the dinosaur for me.
Well, mine's going to look, it's going to look, better is it? I mean, I don't know if that's the right word to use there. It's going to look definitely more eye-catching.
Yeah.
But, whether it objectively looks better or I just look like a dope, I think we'll see.
That's part of the charm.
That is part of the charm.
Yeah. So we mentioned at the end of the episode earlier in the week that we have kind of stuff planned for Halloween. So the idea is next week's mini Fuzz from that day. There should be an episode every day.
Yeah.
Not only is there episodes every day. We've got some big ones. We've got Brother Richard.
Yeah. Once again,
Brother Richard. We've got. Not more importantly, but big guest, your sister
Anna Maria O'Neill
is coming on.
Wow, yeah, she's so my sister has some really interesting stories, especially like because our house is a bit spooky. We have like little spooky family stuff, but since moving into our new house, having a family and all that, there's some domestic abuse stories. No, she's the spookiest shit happened to her since she moved.
Ben with the claw.
Ben, not again, Ben. No, of course not. He's a wonderful man. So she has a really good ghost story, like one of the best ones I've heard, certainly, that I'm connected with. So I think we're going to get her to come on and tell that. And she's a lovely person.
Exactly,
so just to shoot the breeze.
We'll have a great chat with her. And as well, like, Anna watches a lot of horror stuff, I'm sure.
She used to.
She'll have recommendations.
Yeah, she used to watch an awful lot. And my oldest niece is going to be 6 in January. I think having children has turned her off horror a little bit. So, you know, probably more into Paw Patrol and Bluey now, maybe.
Yeah, maybe your favourite episodes of Bluey then we'll talk about or something, do you know?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
And then we also have, Tim and Alison. I'm not sure about Alison, but Tim will definitely be on for the Halloween day as usual. There's a couple of other interviews and Eamon has a story as well. And they'll all be pebble dashed across that week.
like you after a bad night of kebabs and drinking.
Yeah.
The royal you, everybody you.
So it'll be a good crack. So yeah, you'll be eating over Halloween an episode per day for the week. We haven't done that since like two years ago, I think it was.
Did we do it last Halloween? Oh no, we were so busy because we're moving into the houses. Yeah.
This time last year was mad. But anyway, so that's what's coming up. If you want to support us for doing so, head on over and check out our Patreon. You get exclusive episodes, you get the ad-free experience and all that jazz. We're also on Apple as the Fuzzy Club, it's known as, and that's just a one-off $3.50 per month kind of payment. It's just a fixed rate rather than a one-off. But
they don't have tiers. It's just the one.
It's just the one thing. Now the thing is, unfortunately, getting the ad-free episodes up in time, it has proven difficult because it's a different publisher. I won't bore you with the details, whatever. But if you want the exclusive monthly episode, it's over there. It's just going to cost you $3.50 for the month, whatever. Head on over and check it out. You can pay yearly on both Patreon and Apple as well, folks. Eamon, if they have any cryptid encounters, spooky stories, or anything of the Halloween flavour, where did they send?
Some of our friends Sonia and Bob Gusky, you have any spooky stories that you want to say to us? Riles G is another one. Give us a shout, monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com, and we will read them out on a mini fuzz.
Big shout out to our new patron, Je m'appelle Patrice.
Patrice.
Probably listen to the Paris episode, you know. Patrice sounds French to me, right?
Patrice does sound French, like
the way it's spelled as well. Patrice.
I was going to say Patricia. Patricia, well, that's Spanish.
Like, yeah.
Patrice. Patrice, yeah, I'd say, are you French? Write in monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. Patrice, where are you from? What's happening?
Now, Red Sonia writes in, if you want to take it away.
Red Sonia, Conan's love interest?
I think it was, yeah. I think it was.
Yeah.
Something.
I believe so. She's just girl version of Conan. She's like the lady from that
Xena the Warrior Princess.
I was gonna say what Golden Axe.
Golden Axe. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I have a great topic for you that is super interesting and hasn't been debunked. It's the Polaroid ghostwriter.
We'll take that out.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Also, I wanted to let you know how much I love listening to your podcast. I had a really bad head injury in March 2022 that I'm still recovering from, so I can't really use screens a lot.
Some would actually wager that having a head injury would make you enjoy this podcast more.
There's a lot to be said for having a head injury and regressing to Monster Fuzz podcast.
Probably makes you appreciate it more.
Yeah, sure. I think so. I think like I had. Did you ever have a bad head injury?
Yeah, a couple of times.
So did I. Yeah,
a couple of times.
Yeah, so we are the result of head injuries.
Yeah, I've had a few bad ones now.
Yeah,
I fell on my head. You fell on your head as well, did you?
I fell like from a fairly bad height on my head.
Same.
And I was concussed for like a day.
Knocked myself out. Then another time I was getting up off of bed, put my head straight into a wooden beam, like literally drilled myself up into it.
Spiked yourself.
And like I had a headache for like a week and a half. No, I did literally. I was like, I should probably go to the doctor about this, but I just rolled it out.
Yeah, nah, in the 80s Ireland.
Oh no, this was like last week. 2018.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
All right, 2018.
Just rocked with it, you know. Kept it going.
Sometimes you have to look.
Like, don't hurt you.
Well, I mean, it can.
So that's grand.
The ramblings of a man with a head injury. I like tried to do flippy shit off a banister when I was 13 and basically fell a story.
Yeah, we did the same
straight
thing.
onto me conch, and I got sick when I was knocked out, vomited, and my dad had to bring me up to the hospital. Yeah. But he didn't drive me up, so when he got there, the hospital people thought he was after beating me asunder.
Oh, yeah. I didn't go to the hospital. I just woke up in bed and they were like, yeah, you knocked yourself out. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
End of the story.
Yeah. To be fair, me going to hospital, I probably should have just stayed in bed. They didn't do anything except monitor me. They put me in a room. I was 12. Maybe I just turned 13. So it's just like, just hitting adolescence. But they put me in the children's ward, which is fair enough. But I was in right opposite, like, there was just a baby and me.
Yeah. Okay.
No one else, like.
No.
And the baby kept crying. Okay. So I had like this massive head injury where I'd been concussed for a day. And I used to get up and like shamble man over to the thing and then put the soother back in its mouth because I just kept falling out. Yeah. I was like, shut up, baby. And put it, it was
neglected.
I'm not even sure if that actually happened or if it's like the head injury was so bad. Like that was some sort of internal struggle. Yeah, it could be. Anyway, back to Red Sonia. So she can't be looking at the TV, phones, etc. No screens, head injury. So at night, me and my husband listened to your podcast. You actually gave me a shout out in September 2022, Phil and Sonia from Boston for our anniversary.
I remember that.
Nice one, yeah. My husband wrote in and it made my whole year that you read it out loud. Of course, my husband never wrote back to thank you because he's the most ADHD motherfucker out there, which I'm sure you understand. Yeah, he might be number 3 after the two of us. Anyways, you guys are awesome. I'm not even into podcasts and I only listen to you and Armchair Expert.
Shout out.
Yeah. I've never heard Armchair Expert. Is it good?
I don't know. We're kind of
like this, probably not great.
We're kind of like I would almost say like an anti-podcast, really.
Yeah, we're like a punk rock podcast.
Yeah, we're just it's an excuse for our laziness, but yeah, something like that. Punk.
I don't know. Like,
we're actually not lazy.
We're Midland for laziness. Yeah,
we're prolific.
That's it.
Fuck all them podcasts.
Fuck yous. You've helped me laugh through the hardest parts of my recovery. My husband always jokes that my personality is a mix between the two of you. Poor man, long suffering. That's
the dream right there. Do you know what I mean?
To go out with a man who's a mix between. Or no, she's
a mix.
She's a mix. To go out with a woman whose personality is a mix. Does she often talk to him about what he thinks of Mickey-based topics? Like, how big is your Mickey, Phil?
See, I don't know. That's funny. That's actually interesting because I don't know. We've never really had many comments on that, and yeah, we don't really need them either, but we've never had too many comments on what our listeners perceive us as. Like, so like, you know, the way, you know, you watch like Ant and Dec and you're like, which one is the lad that goes around drinking, crashing cars into walls and everything? You're like, oh yeah, he's the lad that has the crack. So, so we don't know which of us, like what way we're viewed. Well, we don't, so it's interesting.
Maybe because like we don't really, I don't know if we fit into the archetype.
No.
Because we don't have the fame or fortune to act like head asses anymore.
Not yet, we do. Help us out there, lads.
We're too old, man. I don't think I'd change much. I just want to get me gutter fixed and just be left alone.
If we got in for the money,
get a few new windows or
buying X-Men versus Street Fighter on PlayStation 1 and stuff.
That's it's literally it's wow, that pathetic. Get me wife one of them GHD
Street Fighter
the Dyson hair straightener that she's like she's wanted it for years for like
they're bollocks. I went in to buy a Dyson Hoover from my mum one time, and the salesman in the shop was like, don't buy it. He was like, just buy the Melee one. He was like, just buy the
Shark one. We have the Dyson Charge Hoover. It is class. Yeah. But I don't know that it's better than the other ones that do the same
Shark's probably better.
Well, it's just, I don't know if it's better. It's got a better name. Sharks are cooler. Yeah. But you know yourself, it's like what you said when we were all moving in. It's like, it's all price gouging because I know you have money to move into a new house. Like if you need a Hoover and you're going to buy a Dyson, they're like, charge what you want. Like it's like the PlayStation Pro. They're like, 700.
Someone will pay it.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So thanks for writing in, right, Sonia? She also sent it on Instagram, so we had a bit of a chat over there. Cool. Lovely person, and glad you're enjoying the podcast, especially after all these years. It's something that, for me personally, I like hearing because it's like you've listened to our nonsense for multiple years and haven't gotten bored of it, which is kind of good. As a content creator, it means that we're not getting stale in a sense.
I think we definitely get bored of it at times. Well, I think we put out so much garbage.
If you're the type of person that's gotten bored, it's probably a sign that you've listened to too much, which is also good.
Yeah.
So it's like,
give it a break. Come back when you're ready.
Big Bad Bob Gusky writes in. Hi Rob and Eamon, it's almost Halloween and almost my birthday on the 30th. Spooky bastard. In a departure from my normal nonsense, I'm sending a slightly supernatural story for the Monster Fuzzies to consider for use on the podcast, of course. While working the rideshare gig in the Queen City today, I had 4 riders named Robert or Rob. And when working, I have to use my legal name, Robert. So while coincidentally odd, in an essentially random system, such as the rideshare algorithm, repeating values do occur. And that's not the slightly supernatural event that transpired. That is weird. Robs. I feel like Rob was a name that was very popular, like mid to late 80s.
Rob and David.
Rob was popular. Like I know a bunch. There was a bunch in my class. There was like, I think 3 or 4 Robs in my class.
Really?
Yeah, it was like fairly everywhere.
Yeah, there's a good few Robs in my class as well. Actually, when I go back, or in the year in general.
It was like the precursor for Jade.
I was only the one Eamon.
Yeah.
My year.
They should start like mixing like those new like Jaden with like traditional Irish names, so you'd be like Jamin or something.
Jamin.
Aiden. Well, Aiden's a name. Yeah.
Aiden's a nice name. Alana seems to be, like, my niece is called Alana, and I think it's a popular one.
It's all Irish names now. It's all in vogue. Like it's
Alana,
all like
Lanav. That's because that's the anglicization of Lanav, isn't it? Like
could be
child in Irish.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Fia is an Irish name.
Oh, Fiach and Fia and Fiachra and all that sort of stuff. Fianna. And I call my son Satanta.
I think I'd go with Sean, probably.
Sean's SHAWN after Street Fighter 3.
Yeah. No, that's not
would you buy a X-Men versus Street Fighter to PS1 for his Welsh?
Yeah. No, you'd go SEAN.
Of course.
Yeah. So back to Bob Gusky. So I picked up the passenger and somehow the topic of religion came up. Normally I don't engage too deeply in controversial issues. It is to avoid offending others with my opinions. Very wise, Bob. This passenger was dressed in medical scrubs. All right. But I picked her up at a rather wealthy residence. She is an in-home caregiver, all right, and got into the car. We exchanged details of our denominations. It was a pleasant conversation. I recently resumed wearing a necklace with a crucifix pendant, Jesus piece, as the cool dudes call it.
I want to get like a gold cross necklace.
It's Brother Richard, isn't it? His influence.
He certainly hasn't dissuaded me from doing that. No, I always liked. I have a thing with the cross. Like I make.
Catholics on.
That's probably the main thing, yeah. But I tend to make it like I'll if you ever see me, if I get stressed out, I start to like draw it in things with my finger.
Literally
upside down.
Do you? Yeah.
I do, yeah. And even if I was walking in a kitchen, I'll walk on. It's probably some latent OCD stuff.
Yeah.
I'll walk in crosses. So if there's 3 squares, I'll walk 3 squares up, then take a step back 1 square, and then skip the square in the middle and stand on the right one. And I'll just keep
Angel
doing
mind freak.
Mind freak. Yeah, I do stuff like that.
Yeah, you've got OCD still anyway. It's good to hear.
Yeah, but it's grand. It's only low level. Stepping on tiles to make. I would prefer making a 4-dimensional tesseract in 2-dimensional
They're
form.
playing fucking Jesus Twister corner in the kitchen. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm out there making the Catholic souffle with my feet. No,
class. Yeah,
I do that. Yeah,
I used to wear an ankh.
Did you wear an ankh? Egyptian
Tutankhamun, man.
Egyptian Jesus.
Loves Jesus.
Egyptian.
Ra, no, son God.
Sure, he's Ra. Sure, Jesus is Ra.
Anubis.
No.
Set. What was it? Set.
Set was fairly good.
Yeah, Set was a couple of
Dog face. What was his name? What was the dog head one?
Was that him?
Was that Anubis?
I think so.
Who was the other fellow? Horus, the eye of Horus.
Yeah, he was the one with the pigeon head, wasn't he? Horus.
Yeah, he had a nice eye.
Yeah.
His little eye is nice.
Half pigeon, half.
It's like a good tattoo. Get that, you'd be all hard and all around the place. Doing pyramids and everything.
I'm gonna get a tattoo with the pyramids with a conspiracy eye and all on it. I'll just get a conspiracy guy's tattoo with it.
Or just get the dollar tattoo with the eye on top. That's the
Illuminati. I know, watch out, by
Illuminati confirmed.
It's coming for you. So anyway, Bob Guskey's crucifix came loose in the car. He pulled his shirt loose. Steady now, Bob.
Bob Guskey's crucifix came loose in the car is like a tongue twister.
It is. There's a loose moose about this house. I pulled my shirt loose from my trousers. Steady now, Bob. You're right, sharing now, Bob.
Jesus Christ.
Your man's trying to tell you about
more
Jesus.
rides soon enough. So I say.
He tried to pull the shirt loose from his trousers and retrieve the pendant. Yeah, the pendant, I'd say. No, go on now.
I'm just retrieving the pendant.
I stuffed it into my pocket and assumed my necklace had come undone or broken.
Good Lord.
It's probably a Creed song about that, like, you know. I should have left my pendant down my pants.
What do you do when the chain breaks off your pendant?
Yeah, probably. A few hours later, as my shift ended, I felt for my necklace and found it intact.
Oh, weakest Lydia.
Yeah. I pulled into a parking lot and closely examined the necklace and pendant. There is no obvious defect in the crucifix nor the necklace. I undid the necklace and fed it through the pendant. All right. I cannot logically explain how the crucifix came loose. I like to say I'm stitious, but not superstitious. I like it.
Pretty good.
I think it was strangely appropriate. This happened while how I was discussing fate when this happened. Did some spiritual being do this to distract me? We'll actually ask, if I remember tomorrow when we're talking to Brother Richard, we'll actually raise this. Even though I cannot discern any physical gap in the links, did the crucifix bounce in just the wrong way to become loose? I just don't know. But I'm still wearing this damn necklace. We said just the necklace. Respectfully, Bob Guskey. What you reckon? Huh?
I don't know. So basically the necklace came off like a magic trick without breaking one of the links on the chain. If we look closely, did maybe one of the chain links have a little gap in it and the thing was on that and it managed to just slide out? You know, that would be like if you were being stitious or superstitious. You'd look for the first thing that wasn't Jesus getting rid of your cross. Would be curious to know what religion the other lady was.
Satanist.
That then maybe the power of Satan could remove the crucifix.
Maybe.
You know.
I don't know, Bob. That's spooky.
It's an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah, again, I think this is one for Brother Richard. I think we can ask Brother Richard about this because I think this is probably a common thing. I'm actually going to go ahead and say it, that this is probably a common enough supernatural kind of thing where...
I wonder why. I wonder what would be the significance of the cross. Maybe it's because he's not super religious and the cross is like trying to repel itself away from it. The cross is like, I want you to get baptized.
All right.
Something like that, like... Of course, I'm making things up on the spot. So
We're podcasters. That's what
this
we
is
do.
what we do.
What are you talking about? Big Bad Riles G writes in.
Riles G. One story involving my family.
Oh.
We left Canberra to head home to Goulburn one night around 7 p.m. The trip from Goulburn to Canberra is roughly 1 hour, give or take.
Canberra.
Yeah.
The
I thought he was living in Mexico or something.
No, the Aussies would be killing us now if we messed up Canberra.
Goulburn to Canberra. So it's 1 hour. Once driving past Lake George, my nan and I both seen what we still speak about to this day as a UFO flying right next to us. It flew next to us for at least 10 seconds, silently, like dead silent. And in a blink, it shot across the lake like it was nothing. And then it was gone within seconds. It was shiny silver and classic disc shape. For something that big, to not make a sound is baffling. The messed up part is once we got back into town, we noticed our car clock was around 1 a.m. We didn't think anything of it until we seen the town clock showing the exact same time. Still makes me think to this day, I have no idea how we lost all those hours.
7 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's so like...
Lost.
That's abduction.
Gone.
I was just driving home and then, that's Rush Pierre. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. I apologize for my terrible storytelling. Stop right. This is a very good story. There's so much thing like this. It's funny, we're recording Lizard People episode after this.
Well, time to be alive.
Pretty good. But there's sort of a reptilian alien story in that. And in a similar fashion, it's got like he remembers seeing the craft and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes and he gets some regression hypnotherapy and then realizes all this mad stuff. We'll be curious. I would be curious as well, Riles. Do you have any kind of illnesses that would have sort of happened after that? Or anything to you or your nanny or anything like that? Because a lot of people, they have little implants or they start to get some sicknesses afterwards. And interesting.
Yeah, man. So that lake, he sent on a couple of other links there. The particular link he sent wasn't really great in terms of finding out a whole lot of more info. But long story short, the lake is called Lake George. Not the Lake George in America, which also has UFO and weird shit going on. What does it all mean? But yeah, I think it's Lake George, I think. And that lake itself has a bunch of folklore and weird stuff about it. Yeah. One of the weirdest things about it is that, I don't know if it still does, but at one point, I think it's dry now. At one point in time, it used to fill and empty completely, like at random. No one really knew how it would happen. And as well...
My apologies.
As well, I believe when settlers first got to that neck of the woods, they were planning on building Canberra there on that lake bed. And they were going to kind of do like a Venice kind of setup, which would have been interesting. An Australian Venice would be class. Fucking crocodiles and shit.
Jesus, yeah. Can you imagine? That'd actually be class.
Man. Throw a few fucking crocodiles in around. It'd be
you could do like a
Donkey Kong
like
level.
American Ninja, and there's loads of sharks and crocodiles in the water.
But just going like a Donkey Kong level, just walking around doing your fucking shopping. Do you know what I mean? There'd be like alligators,
jump on a crate and get a swordfish, and
literally.
Pretty cool.
You'd be riding swordfish down to get your shopping. You know what I mean? You alright?
Something
beavers and all. Ostriches. They're all of the stuff in Donkey Kong is in.
Is the beaver in Donkey Kong?
Beavers are in Donkey Kong.
As an enemy, or you can get on the back of the beaver? Yeah.
You can get on an ostrich. You can get on a rhinoceros.
Swordfish.
Swordfish.
Probably more in the other games.
There is, yeah. Lots.
I have vivid memories of number 1, but not so much of 2 and 3.
When I first seen Donkey Kong 1
I
on
knew
the SNES,
I had to have it.
It was given to me as like a Christmas present.
Same, yeah.
And like I remember putting it in the TV, and I didn't even really know what video games were properly, but I just knew that this was super cool.
Yeah.
Just seeing him, little monkey doing his little dance on the screen when the granddad was winding up the thing. And I was like, this is fucking, what the fuck is going on here?
What's funny is I got Killer Instinct one year, which again had like those, it was rare as well, so it had like those really cool graphics for the time. But I got Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. So I got those 2 games the same Christmas. And obviously just visually, you would look at Legend of Zelda and it wouldn't stand out as much, in the 90s at least. But when I put Legend of Zelda into the machine and I started playing it, I said, sorry, Killer Instinct, now I'm going to have to take a break from you.
Fighting games a lot of the time last out for me because part of me just burping and all two of us are fucking
we're not well
today.
Well, I'm still sick.
You've been like in the
I've been sick for about 2 weeks.
Like
because like I'm sick and the people are like, we're going here, now we're going there, now we're going here, and I was just like, please, I love you all, and this is the sentiments, thank you so much, but I'm exhausted.
Everybody loves aiming, it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have until you get pneumonia. It's pretty good till then.
Speaking about everyone loving everyone, here's a bunch of raccoons that love a woman. It's time to tell the story. So a woman was forced to flee her home after 50 to 100 raccoons surrounded it and demanded food, hounding her day and night. She told officials in Paulsbo in the US state of Washington that she started feeding the family of raccoons decades ago.
Well, that was her first mistake, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, I would, to be quite honest with you, because I love raccoons.
That'd be your first
Trash
mistake
pandas,
as well.
I love them.
They are cute. They are super cute. They have little thumbs though. They can tear everything apart. Like,
oh yeah. That seemed harmless until the number showing up at her property rose from a handful to dozens, with some scratching at her front door and at her car. Now, some of them that turned up aiming were aggressive. This was said by Kevin McCarthy, who was the spokesman for Kitsap County Sheriff's Office. Footage from the Sheriff's Office showed between 50 to 100 raccoons milling around the trees outside the woman's home. That's a horror film in the makings. She said those raccoons were becoming increasingly more aggressive, demanding food, that they would hound her day and night, scratching at the outside of her home at the door. If she pulled up her car, they would surround the car, scratch at the car, surround her. If she went from her front door to her car or went outside at all. They saw this as a food source now, so they kept coming back and they were expecting food. He said that it's a nuisance problem, kind of her own making, and she has to deal with it.
I warned her.
Yeah. It is illegal to feed large carnivores such as bears and cougars, but while some areas may have local statutes forbidding the feeding of other wildlife, it is not against the law to feed a trash panda, Evan.
Yeah, you're allowed to leave bread in your own garden, as far as I'm aware.
Well,
the day they stop me leaving bread in my own garden, if you don't think I'm not going to use my First Amendment rights.
Well, like, you see, some people are misguided.
Wait, is First Amendment guns or is that Second Amendment?
Second.
The one with guns, that was what I was talking about.
See, some people are misguided because they're like, I'm feeding the birds, but they're actually feeding the rats.
Yeah.
And you're like, so let's not do that.
We were warned specifically when we moved into our house, because my garden is just it's like a little forest.
Yeah.
And the lady said, I was like, oh, would you put up like a little bird feeder or something? And she was like, this place will be chaos if you put up a bird feeder.
Rats?
Not rats so much. It's just so many birds nesting around there that like it'd probably just be chaos. Like my garden is constantly dead birds from the cats.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, bird feathers constantly in the garden. I've seen rats in the garden as well.
Really?
I've had mice in the house. And then bird shit is constantly everywhere because like they're always perched up around there, We're thinking about putting in a little bit like a tiny bird house, no food, just because when it gets a bit windy.
For the blue tits,
The blue tits, the yellow tits, the chaffinches.
Yeah, they're all nice. And you get a little camera to put inside it. They're cute. You ever seen them?
Oh yeah, the little. But probably it'll just house a family of rats.
They're all just chilling in there.
They'll all just find a way up. Yeah.
They have a couch and they're just chilling. No, I think the problem is cats, man. They're fucking little bastards. Like, I love cats, but like, we like my granny's house. There's like plenty of spots to put good boxes, and you can view them really well.
Right.
But the cats, like, they're always disrupting.
Because talking about food sources, the animals are basically looking for the easiest way to get food. So,
and sometimes the birds will abandon the nest then as well if the cat is too much of a threat. So, like, there's plenty of time now. We've opened up the old bird box, a lot of dead little baby birds in it. Couldn't make it.
I couldn't see. And then
sadly,
something that was meant to bring you joy and oneness with nature.
No.
It's brought you harrowing images, and it's also, but it has brought you one with nature, because nature isn't just all about rainbows and rivers and all.
Lessons to be learned.
Blood. It's about teeth. It's about consumption.
It is.
Life feeds on life.
So raccoons carry diseases. So I did a bit of research here, Evan, because I'm my brain is quite
You
large.
do have a very big brain. Yeah.
And so I decided let's spice up this article, and we'll talk about the risks of feeding wild animals in America. Now, basically, I didn't know this. Raccoons are the second highest mammals to spread rabies
After bats, like, is it?
So I'm just going to give you a rundown of rabies and
please.
how terrifying rabies actually is.
It's not good.
Because this is like a public service announcement. So we've talked about it before, but not at length. So I went and I did my research. Basically, with rabies, here's the symptoms and all that jazz. The incubation period for rabies is typically 2 to 3 months it takes, but may vary from 1 week to 1 year, depending on factors such as location of the virus entry and the viral load. Initial symptoms of rabies include generic signs like a fever, pain, and unusual or unexplained tingling, pricking, or burning sensations at the wound site. As the virus moves to the central nervous system, progressive and fatal inflammation of the brain and spinal cord develops. Sounds great. Clinical rabies in people can be managed but very rarely cured, and not without severe neurological deficits. Yeah, I feel like that can be managed should have a little asterisk beside it and be like, you're probably going to die anyway, or you might nearly dead anyway. There's 2 forms. I didn't realize this. One is called furious rabies, which is kind of cool.
I don't think I want that one.
I kind of want to catch rabies now.
He's got furious rabies.
It's just running around going mad. But anyway, it actually does result in hyperactivity, excitable behavior, hallucinations, lack of coordination, hydrophobia, which is the fear of water, and aerophobia, which is fear of drafts or of fresh air.
I wonder, is that nature's way of trying to get you not to spread?
Yeah.
You know, to
maybe.
keep you away from air, keep you away from the water sources, yeah.
Yeah, maybe, actually. That's a good observation, Eamon. Jesus, your brain.
Well, our brains together. Oh,
gigawatts.
Le grand brain. What's brain in French? Trees, give us a shout there. Let us know what brain is in French. Le grand, and then French word for brain, please.
So, death occurs after a few days due to cardiorespiratory arrest. Paralytic rabies accounts for about 20% of the total number of human cases. This form of rabies runs a less traumatic and usually longer course than the furious form. Muscles gradually become paralyzed, starting at the wound site. A coma slowly develops, and then you get a bit of death.
A bit of death.
Yeah, the paralytic form of rabies is often misdiagnosed. It contributes to the underreporting of the disease. Jesus. And so, diagnosis. Currently, there is no WHO approved diagnostic tools for detection of rabies before the onset of clinical disease. And onset of clinical disease with rabies means you're dead.
Cool.
So, clinical diagnosis of rabies is difficult without a reliable history of contact with a rabid animal or specific symptoms of hydrophobia or aerophobia. Accurate risk assessment is crucial for deciding on PEP administration. And once you get symptoms, death is inevitable.
You need to, like, it's within hours of the bite or something, isn't it? That you need to get treatment. There's some sort of a cutoff point.
So basically, this is why we're saying this. There's a lot of outdoor people on this that listen to this podcast, people that are out hiking, people that are out doing all that jazz, people that may or may not come in contact with bats in caves and such. So basically in Ireland, we don't have rabies on this island of Ireland.
Yeah.
So we're actually rabies free. But I have heard that if the type of bat that we have in Ireland is so small, and I think I'm right on this now, once they get into your house, you should go and see about getting rabies treatment, because their bite is so small and so fragile, you don't even know you've been bitten. So, like, say you wake up in the middle of the night, a bat is flown in your window, it's flapping around. The bite is oftentimes so small that you won't know. So you have to, as a precaution, kind of go to the doctors and get sorted. As far as I'm aware, if you do that proactively, you'll actually get rid of rabies.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're proactive, you will get rid of it.
I'd say, I wonder to what extent we have, like, reserves of
we don't have much
rabies medication.
Not much, I wouldn't say.
Or rabies cure.
Very rare. Like I don't think we have much. We don't have it at all on this island, and I think Great Britain are the same.
Yeah.
The US has lots of it, which is why we're saying this on the podcast, because the bulk of our listeners are in rabies land, aka America. And over there, a lot of it, I don't know whether ticks carry it. They don't. I don't think they carry Lyme.
No, they have Lyme disease.
Fucking bastards.
Which is
that's all sort of shite.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah.
A lot of people get that, and just that you're talking, if you recover, you're talking like decades long journeys of just
and
being
like loads of
chronically
antibiotics.
fatigued. Yeah, it's horrible.
There's a video of a guy with hydrophobia on the internet from rabies. He's
and is it
dying of
actually
rabies.
fear? Like, is it you're actually afraid of water?
Yeah.
That's because you can't even really put
like
yourself in
vampire
that.
with light kind of
It's
thing.
mad, isn't it? You can't really put yourself in that mind frame. Yeah.
And the reason that there's a video is because this was a doctor that was infected with it, and he wanted to document the whole process, even up to when he died. Yeah, he died.
Okay, so he was like, "Here's a public service kind of a thing." Okay,
wanted to record the whole thing, start to finish, just in the name of science. You know,
science, man.
We're all looking very mustachioed today, and I like it.
Yeah, I had my
brand.
beard was pretty big, and then I decided I'd shave off. But I've kind of started to enjoy leaving the mustache. I wouldn't do it with a bear here, like just a bit. I need a bit of stubble because I look a bit bananas.
Well, that's the goal.
You know,
my hairdresser said I look like one of the Three Musketeers, and I was like, "That's the idea."
That's pretty. I was
cool.
Like,
well, that's the idea.
That's pretty cool.
That's the idea, brother.
She'd be like,
or like a mysterious vampire.
You look like one of Fritzl's. You look like Fritzl, not one of Fritzl's.
Well, when you get too old, I think it's time to lose the mustache. You know,
my dad does like a good mustache Meg combo. Like he has kind of like an aging D'Artagnan rather than the young supple
true, actually.
D'Artagnan like you. You're like the D'Artagnan who's still going out to Reds and
yeah. But we've got your sister next week. Your ma then is penciled in at some point.
That's going to be a weird episode.
But that's just me and your ma.
That's just you and me talking about vitamins.
Yeah, vitamins and all. And then your dad's the final boss.
We have to coax my dad here, much like the raccoons with whiskey and pints or cans of fucking
the Red Dawn.
The Red Dawn.
We'll talk about proletarianism.
You tell you about the time he nearly went and follow Mao Zedong out to China and all that. He was like, I nearly followed him out, and then I just became a teacher. He's the reason for the woke mind virus because like he's out there teaching all the kids about these ideas the communists were trying to infiltrate society with.
It's mad actually. Again, we're at the end of the episode, so we're going to do a little bit of
going to spitball for a while. Yeah,
it's mad how how much like quote unquote again hate using the term, but fake news spreads. So there's this one going around on Facebook the minute in Ireland where like in SPHE, which is our socials, site, there's a thing where like they're teaching like how to like what was it that they were saying about like how to give blowjobs and how do this and do that and all, but they're not like and there's like parents like that are like mad outraged because it's in the primary school curriculum, so to be 5 to 12.
I think what happened originally
it's not on it.
There was a book not that it was approved. I think they probably approved it without meaning to. That was probably a bit too graphic for youngsters, and now they think like the fucking Illuminati is trying to get everyone's kids interested in like fisting each other or whatever. Like
there's people posting about it on Facebook, like literally here in Wexford going like, I can't believe that they're teaching this. It's like the reason you can't believe it is because it's not happening.
Because it's not true. Like this is the thing is like it's so difficult to be objective with our news sources.
But you get so annoyed, like, because I just want to comment on that stuff and be like, get fucking real. Like,
Pop yourself on. Like.
Just go and do a bit of research. Like, if you're that concerned to post something on Facebook, go and do a bit of fucking research.
But that's the whole way. The whole way that Facebook is. That's what it's encouraging.
Yeah.
How many times have you read a headline? And just been like, oh, for fuck's sake. But like then when you read it, you're like, oh no, this headline has been created for that purpose. But that's what all this stuff is doing. It's just trying to wedge contention, keep you engaged, and it keeps you engaged by pissing you off. And what could annoy you more than the idea of people entering primary schools with smut textbooks? Do you know what I mean? Like it's probably one of the things that would rile most people.
Oh, of course, it's an emotional issue.
Yeah, because like no one wants their kids being
how to get you with
propaganda
with that in general.
But this, all this stuff, man. But the culture wars, I don't know if they're getting better or they're getting worse. They're getting something anyway. Like
definitely worse. Like it's definitely seems.
Well, it's even it's like
awful.
It just there's no truth to it because I was finding it was funny. So Paula would have talked to me about Bolsonaro a good bit in Brazil. So she was quite anti-Bolsonaro. She liked Lula.
So was I. I was familiar with Bolsonaro just via his deforesting the Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. But now I was listening to an episode. It was probably Rogan on the drive up, because it was like I wanted something long so it wouldn't turn off after that as I was driving. And he had Michael, not Sherber, I don't know. But this fellow was basically saying, he was talking about how Bolsonaro was class and Lula's bad because Lula is like into censorship or whatever. But they're leaving out all this stuff about, like, as Paul told me, Bolsonaro said, like, they were like, what would you do if one of your sons got with a black girl?
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
My sons know better than that. And he was like, if you take the vaccine, you'll turn into an alligator. And
well, that's true.
Mads, I'm reptilian now. But like, there's no mention of that. It's like they just focus on censorship. And I would agree with a lot of the stuff. I would be anti a lot of the kind of censorship or the cancelling stuff that gets done, you know?
We fucking talk for a living here. We're not for a living, but we talk.
You need to be able to fuck around and risk upsetting people and all the rest of it. Like the hate speech laws and all that shit, I'd be totally against. But you can't be, like, it's so binary. And that's the way it's putting people in that. Like, you can't be like, all right, well, I don't like that, so that means I like everything on this side. And it's like, well, no, that's fucking garbage and that's stupid. And to me,
but this is the thing, though, is like, there's talking about Lula or whatever his name is, like, and it being against free speech, but like, that's on both sides of the spectrum.
Of course, for sure.
Like ultra liberals are against free speech and ultra conservatives are against free speech for totally different reasons.
It's bizarre.
So like, no matter who you want in, if you are from either side and that you're really in those camps, like, you're going to get rolled no matter what. Yeah. Anyone with an extreme viewpoint is going to, you're going to get rolled.
I think if you have an extreme viewpoint, then, and if you can't articulate it like as a good reason why you have it, then you're probably not making sense. Like, there's probably certain extreme points of view which you can see there's elements of logic in it, and there's elements of logic in everything. Do you know what I mean? There's always going to be hints of truth in things. But to like hang your head on like, oh yeah, Israel should definitely destroy all them lads, or to be like, Palestine should definitely destroy all that, or like death to these guys, or these, like, they're both obscene points of views.
You see all the propaganda about the Irish over in Lebanon, like,
fucking
unreal.
That's crazy.
When you see it, like, they're like, well, one of the main ones I seen, which just again shows a complete degree of ignorance about the whole idea, is like, they're a peacekeeping force. So for listeners that don't realise, basically in the Lebanon for years, since the 70s, I believe, the Irish have been present as
peacekeeping.
Not peacekeeping. They've been present as part of the UN in that region.
Right.
And people have wrongly assumed that their job is peacekeeping because they're a part of the UN. Right. Their job is not peacekeeping at all. So what people were saying is,
I wrongly assumed that.
People were saying on the Jewish side, were saying, well, if they're present and Lebanon are able to fire rockets, then they're not doing peacekeeping. So then they're allies to Hezbollah, right?
Like a by proxy.
Yeah. Right. So they're letting it happen. They're letting Hezbollah get to the border to bomb Israel, right?
Right.
Their job was never to keep the peace. Their job was to monitor and report. That is their job there.
Because we're a neutral
As
country.
a neutral, they're there to observe and report, and that is their job.
Yeah, I think when people probably say peacekeeping, they mean it.
Well, UN peacekeeping is an umbrella term.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, there are missions in the UN where lads are sent to keep the peace, but there are other missions.
Killing other lads. Like,
there are jobs. It depends. Like, so in regards to that one, and I personally have friends who have been to Lebanon to do this job. Like, that's what they're there for. And to even imply that there's anything like kind of sinister or that there's anything like favouring one or the other is absurd.
Well, if anything,
it's absurd. Like, I've talked to people that have been over there, and for one, they really enjoy their job. They're like real proud of their job, and they really like going over there and doing all that, and they really love the community. They love integrating with everyone, and But there's a lot more to that scenario that, and I'm not going to get into it because it's just stupid. But if you do your research and you find out about who's supposed to be wearing what in that border scenario right there, you'll figure out that it's not as black and white as either side would have you believe.
No.
Yeah, anyone, my standpoint is from a cryptid podcast. My standpoint on it is anyone committing to acts of terror is just
it's not like one side's act of terror are okay based on what the other do or vice versa.
None of it is.
It's the whole thing is awful, and there's not even a point in trying to sit down and go like, well, what is the answer? There's fucking no answer now, and there's not going to be an answer. This will die down eventually, but like, there's no way to fix it. It
rises and
fucked
dies
forever.
down. Like, if you're living there, obviously, it doesn't rise or die down.
Because it gets to low level. Like, even if you think in Northern Ireland, granted, there's not big stuff going on there, but there's definitely sentiment up there.
Oh yeah,
like,
they'll be burning all their pallets and all now soon.
That's it. Like, but even when we were in Monaghan, we had to be more aware of the southern accents that we wouldn't really even. You'd never think about that down here. So even though there's not mad violence going on and sectarianism, like, it's still something you just have to be like, right, have your wits about you here. And with the likes of, you know, Israel and Palestine, all that, like, that at its very lowest is still always going to have tension. Oh, yeah. There's no way out of it. Like,
and tension's probably an understatement.
Yeah, exactly. Like, certainly for here in Ireland now, it's a different situation, but certainly for there, I don't think you can go back.
Sure, but you're talking about the sensitivity at the border. Like, when we went up to hike the Mourne Mountains, me mate was wearing a fucking Carlow GAA jersey, and we were like driving past the Orange Order Hall and all. I was like, could you have picked any other jersey?
But isn't it the kind of thing, like, to be fair to him as well, he probably didn't even consider, because we don't have to think about it down here in the south. Like, it never happens.
For our listeners that don't realise what we're talking about, like, GAA is a very Irish sport, and the Orange Order are a pro
loyalist
Britain sort of group. So yeah. But anyway, on to more lighter things. Have you been watching anything? You're busy, man. Like, have you been watching anything? Have you been playing anything? Busy boy. So busy.
I've been massively busy. I've been writing this story for the podcast with free time. Been playing my Steam Deck. I'm enjoying Wolfenstein.
You still playing that?
To be honest, I just haven't had time to really do one thing for much. But it's a very first person shootery, and that's fine. But the story is like, it's really good. Yeah,
Wolfensteins are kind of a little bit under the radar in the last couple of years, I would say.
Yeah.
They're great games.
They're under Doom, but Doom is a much more like, this is the play experience. And Wolfenstein is a more story focused experience.
I always like those alternate history kind of Nazi kind of.
They're pretty fun.
Like, if the Nazis ruled the world, what would have happened? All that kind of shit. I'm playing Silent Hill 2 remake. Yeah.
How are you finding it?
Very good, yeah. Fucking scary, creepy.
I'd say so. They said, there was some review I read about it, and it just said, like, it's miserable, and that's what makes it good.
Yeah. No, it is. It's very so I think I only played, when I think back, I have all of the Silent Hills pretty much now as a collector, but when I actually think back, I might have played Silent Hill 2 on a demo very briefly. I played Silent Hill 1 for sure.
On the demo where
I think me and my cousin rented it, and I think we played a decent amount. But so when this remake was announced, I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to actually jump in and experience the game properly. And like, I know what happens in the story just because it's one of them famous stories. But super cool, super airy. You know,
18 hours long as well, compared to the original was like 6, 7.
I think I've heard like 12 to 18.
Okay, right,
it depends on what way you're going at it, which is great. And I also picked up that Metaphor Refantasio fucking.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I picked that up.
Cool. You must let me know if that one's good, because
it runs on the deck. Yeah, apparently it runs on the deck. So there you go.
It's just trying to get time. Trying to get
it's time to retire, man.
I wish I could retire.
What have I been watching? Still watching The Bear. Fucking so good. Jesus, it's really good. You need to watch that.
Like, I must get on it. Yeah,
you should. It's really fucking good.
We're watching the new season of From. And the new Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. Paolo, I'm not like mad on the Walking Dead, but Paolo watched them all, so they're fun to watch. Like, you know, I'm surprised
Paolo was into Walking Dead now.
Yeah, she was into
Really,
it. She's a funny little one because she doesn't like spooky things, but she loves From. You'd love From. If you start watching it, you'll love it. And yeah, Walking Dead. I guess if the narrative is strong enough, like to be fair to the Walking Dead, in terms of how many things, to a point,
it was good.
Look, I tapped out on it probably before you did, like, but
I got to the general. Was that his name? No. Was it
Negan or
no
the governor?
The governor.
Same. I got to the end of the governor's one where
same.
Andrea caught, and I was like, I'm not enjoying this, which is bizarre because I love zombie stuff,
and we love The Walking Dead,
But yeah, no, From is really worth. Like I'd like you to watch it and just report.
I might now because I'm getting the Bear Man is so fucking emotional. It's really like it's the wrong word, like, but it's brave in a way because a lot of the scenes in it can be like 5-10 minutes of like no talking, and or sometimes it can be like 5 to 10 minutes of a monologue. Or
so like
just
real confidence in what they're showing you, like.
But it's really fucking well done. Like Jesus, it's very.
I must check it out. I watched like 2 or 3 episodes and I enjoyed it, but I just
stick with it.
Yeah, I'd say they just didn't line up the story to keep. Like for me, I don't mind watching shows that are kind of one-offs, but ultimately I like to have like a story that just keeps you wanting to see the next.
But it does because. It's about their journey to try and improve the restaurant and all that.
It's probably just I watched a few, and it's probably just there's so much to watch.
They're only half-an-hour episodes, like, so you'll burst through them. Like,
it'd be worth it. Yeah.
There's a really fucking good one in season 2 where his brother is speaking of Walking Dead. What's his name? Fucking Rick's buddy that was trying
Shane.
Yeah.
John Barrentop.
John Barrentop.
Right, yeah.
So that's his brother, like.
Okay, because it's very difficult not to.
I think he won an Emmy for. There's one episode in the middle, and if you have family that you have contention with, it is a fucking brilliant episode. It's a Christmas dinner episode, and it's an hour long, and it's got a load of really good actors. It's got him. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis plays his ma.
Guy.
And it's got Sarah Paulson. She was in American Horror Story. She's very good as well. I really liked her in that. And it's just the acting in that episode, like John Bernthal is fucking brilliant in it. It's really good. It's just like a really tense episode.
Right.
But yeah, no, I really, really like it. Like, it's very emotional. You're watching, you're like, fuck, this is like, it's just really real. It
seems
like,
very tense.
Yeah. But even just like with the sadder shit, the more melancholy shit, like, it's really real and you're like, oh, fuck. But also there's lots of light moments that are quite funny and stuff in it as well. So, no, it's really, really good. I'm trying to think if we put on anything else recently. I don't think there's been anything else. No. There's been no movies that I've kind of wanting to watch or nothing, so I've kind of stuck out of it.
Me neither, no.
Right then, we'll leave it there. That's about it. Lots of content coming next week. Watch this space.
Big day.
I've been Rob.
I've been Eamon.
Monster Fuzz over and out.
Bye.